Oh my goodness, back to the very beginning. So what my health was like, well, I was close to 300 pounds before. I had 6 life-threatening diseases and a lot of other very annoying diseases. But I had liver disease. I had hypertension. I had sleep apnea. I was a big fat mess is really what I was. I mean, I had 2 hypertensive emergencies. I was addicted to food. I had a lot of really some issues, but a lot of people I've discovered, I thought I was the only one that had these issues, but apparently not. There's a lot of people that are going through one or more of these issues every day. So that's what I started with. I had to switch insurance plans. That's really what got me down this path.
Are you ready to live the life you deserve? Do you want to feel vibrantly healthy and reach your optimal weight without dieting while being kind to animals and the planet? Then you're in the right place at the right time. Welcome to Plant-Based Eating for Health with your host, certified plant-based nutritionist, Kathleen Gage.
Hey everybody, it's Kathleen Gage with Plant-Based Eating for Health, and today I am so excited to have my good buddy Brian Rodgers on the call. Hey Brian, you're looking great. You are looking rock star great, and I'm just so excited for you to share your story. And then I want to talk about your business as it relates to plant-based eating. You recently were featured in probably the premier magazine in the industry. And then let's talk about the whole COVID-19 epidemic, what's going on with that. So welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you. This is awesome. I'm so excited to do this because I think when I started on this journey, I think you were the first person to really ask me, hey, I want to interview you. Like, what's going on? I think I did my very first ever interview with you. And so I'm excited for this update because I think that's been like over a year ago.
Yeah, it's been about a year. And at that time you had dropped 105 pounds. You're further along on your journey since that time.
Yeah.
And I do believe I was the first one. And you're just like out there all over the place sharing your story. So
I've done a lot of these, like a lot of them are coming up too. I've been interviewed on some really major shows been recorded that haven't been released yet. So there's a lot happening right now. So
that is so awesome because you have such a phenomenal story to tell. And let's start with where you were pre-plant-based eating. What was your health like? What was your weight like? And then talk about what made you decide to start plant-based eating.
Oh my goodness, back to the very beginning. So what my health was like, well, I was close to 300 pounds before. I had 6 life-threatening diseases and a lot of other very annoying diseases. But I had liver disease. I had hypertension. I had sleep apnea. I was a big fat mess is really what I was. I mean, I had 2 hypertensive emergencies. I was addicted to food. I had a lot of really some issues, but a lot of people I've discovered, I thought I was the only one that had these issues, but apparently not. There's a lot of people that are going through one or more of these issues every day. So that's what I started with. I had to switch insurance plans. That's really what got me down this path. We had been on the same insurance plan for years and years and years. And we moved from from Kansas City to Colorado, and I put it off. And finally I had to go to the doctor to get my insurance updated. And, so when I came in, I was 300 pounds. That's not normal. And they wanted to just do all the blood work and testing and everything like that. And it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
So, when you had to switch the insurance, what happened? Did the premium go up? Did they refuse to insure you? What was the deal there?
We have always been on my wife's insurance plan. My wife's a doctor. She's in medicine. We've always been on my wife's insurance plan because I'm an entrepreneur. I've worked at home for 25 years, never had a need to have insurance, but she changed jobs. So we relocated to Colorado and we were on a different insurance for years and we couldn't be on that insurance anymore because she switched to a new company here in Colorado. So they required us to go through the regular procedures of changing your life insurance, changing your health plan, getting a new primary doctor, all those things you have to go through, either if you're trying to find a primary doctor or if you're starting a new insurance. So we had to actually find a new primary doctor and we had to change insurance companies.
And with that reality, the fact that, okay, now because of my weight, because of my health, I've got all these pre-existing conditions, I've got these diseases going on. What was your actual wake-up call? Because you would think, once you're diagnosed with something, that might be a wake-up call, but you waited until you had 6 diseases. What was that turning point for you?
Well, I did, as far as waiting till I had 6 diseases, I've been fighting childhood obesity since I was 8 years old. So I was waiting a long time. Like when I went into the doctor, I was 44. I just recently turned 46 now, by the way.
Happy birthday.
But I went into the doctor, I was 44. In July of 2018, it's been now, is when I was my first doctor's appointment. And so it had been building up for a long time. I've been sitting in front of a computer. I'm a programmer and I do professional barbecue. I'm a chef. I went to culinary school. I have a degree. I won the American Royal, which is the largest real barbecue contest in the world. That was kind of my side thing forever. That's what I enjoyed to do. So I had been eating like this my whole life, sitting in front of a computer, not really moving. So this has been building up and building up for years. It didn't just happen overnight, which is crazy. And so my first reaction was just that I hated myself. Like, this is disgusting, you fat pig. I looked in the mirror. I'm like, you disgust me. That's really what my reaction was, right? But I knew I had to do something about it, either because you have really 3 choices at that point. You can just say, you know what, I'm just going to live life. I'm happy. I liked my life before. Like, I was really successful in almost every area of my life already. Finances, I sold 2 companies for 8 figures. So money wasn't an issue. Finances weren't an issue. Great relationships, but my health, I could never get that right. And so you can either just you could keep doing it and live as long as you can. Like my dad had health issues. He lived to only 53 years old because he decided that, I'm just going to live with it and I'm going to enjoy life to its fullest. And you only live once, that everybody says that. And it's just, I used to think that was the case. And now I think that's the stupidest thing ever. So that's one choice. My second choice that I had my brainy idea was I could get gastric bypass surgery. And that would be the answer to all my problems, right? I could just get gastric bypass surgery. I could do a complete reset. It would just be wonderful. I could just start over, right? So that was my second choice. My third choice was to make real changes, like try something that I haven't tried before, because I had tried every diet. Like I had tried Atkins diet, and I had tried Weight Watchers, and I have tried keto and paleo. And I mean, you just name a diet like I've tried Ali diet. I mean, there's not a diet out there that I haven't tried since I was 8 years old. I tried literally everything. I tried starving myself. I tried, eating only meat. I tried eating only not meat. I tried like literally everything my whole life. And finally, the third choice was to make a change. And so that was really kind of what I was faced with. In my mind, the best choice was gastric bypass surgery, because that was like, just come in, cut my stomach. We'll be done with this. It'll be good. I can just continue my life and I'll be good. And when I went to my doctor reluctantly, my new primary doctor and my wife, I mean, they were scared out of their mind when I told them that I wanted to do this. But being supportive people, they're like, okay, well, let's explore it, right? And they're both doctors, right? So they're like, let's explore. I don't enjoy medicine. I don't enjoy science. So they're like, let's explore it. And so they knew it was going to be 6 months on this new insurance plan before I could actually get the surgery. So I was referred to the gastric bypass surgeon. I went to the meeting and he told me all the things that you'd think would scare you. Like, 1, you could die. 2, we're going to cut your stomach open. And they showed all these different ways they're going to dissect you, right? We're going to dissect you these ways. This is what I heard, right? So they're going to dissect your stomach. We're going to make your stomach into like this little, I don't know, PVC pipe. I don't even know what it's called. Like, they're going to make your stomachs like this little thing, right? Instead of like naturally what it's supposed to be. And we're going to do that. And I'm like, okay, I can live with that. I can do the surgery. I'm not really that scared. And finally they said it. Oh my gosh. I remember it like it was yesterday. He said, oh, and by the way, you're probably not going to like a lot of the food you liked before. You're probably going to lose your hair. You're probably going to, you're a big barbecue guy. Like, we had talked about barbecue. He's like, I love barbecue ribs and chicken and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, look, here's pictures of me winning the American Royal. Like, I cook for thousands of people this great barbecue meat, right? And he's like, oh, that's amazing. The gastric bypass surgeon. And he was like, oh, by the way, you're probably not going to like barbecue anymore. Wow. And I was like, all right, that's one thing I don't think I'm willing to do. Like, I think I might be willing to die, but I don't know if I'm willing to give up barbecue. And it was just the combination of things and the way it was said and just kind of everything in my life. That was it. And I literally turned to my wife turned to me. And if you've been married for a long time, I know you've been with you've been married a long time. You look at each other's eyes and you like know what they're thinking, right? They're thinking, all right, we're out of here. That's it. We're out of here. And I always say this. I go, we're out of here on the next thing smoking. The next thing smoking is like my favorite term to say because it's a cool, like, I love that thing. I always say next thing smoking. I'm like, we're out of here on the next thing smoking. And we were gone. We were gone. We were out. And so that was it. That was it for me. We got home the next day, kind of spent about a month. And I don't want to get into the whole story, but we kind of spent about a month thinking about it and kind of crying. I came to the terms that I was, 300 pounds and unhealthy, and it wasn't fair to anybody around me, including the environment, including the community, including my friends, including all that stuff, right? It just wasn't fair to anybody at that point. And so I finally came to the conclusion on August 1st of 2018, I started down the road that we're on now.
Well, how did you know to go plant-based? It's like you talked about being not fair to the environment.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
So what gave me the idea first was my primary doctor, which is pretty unusual. He's in a lot of ways my hero. I just finished writing a book, and I talk a lot about this whole story in my book. But he didn't suggest like go vegan or go plant-based or anything, but he suggested that I make some dietary changes and I start exercising. Well, that seems like common sense, right? But he suggested, he suggests more like kind of a Mediterranean type diet. So it was kind of plant, and he's like, don't eat so much meat. I don't want you to eat red meat at all. And I want you to make some of these changes, but lean chicken's still okay. Some of the stuff's still okay. Some oil's still okay. And just start walking to the end of the block. So I kind of took that, but me being the extreme person that I am, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not just going to jump into this because it's okay. If you only have like a couple pounds to lose, or you just want to be healthier, or you want to just help the environment or whatever, then it's okay to just kind of do it slowly, like maybe once a week, right? Or let's just slowly get into this. For me, like, I was about to die. So I couldn't. I'm like, you know what? Forget oil, forget plant. I've never went completely vegan or plant-based or whatever it is you want to call it. I'm just not going to eat any more meat. I'm not going to eat any more chicken. I'm not going to eat any more dairy. I'm not going to eat any more oil, and I'm going to cut out salt. That's it. Tomorrow, I'm going to do that. And until you can like look at yourself in the mirror, and honestly, I don't want to say disgust. I'm not into body shaming or anything like that, but until you can say, like, I don't like this, either what you're seeing or what you're doing or your actions or whatever, you're not ready, right? You're not ready. I was ready at that point, and I cut out. I did the next day. I completely went cold turkey. I haven't eaten a piece of meat since. I haven't done any dairy since. And I'm on a mission, man. I am on a mission, like you're on a mission.
Absolutely.
To promote this. And so my results, I guess that's the important part, right? So I cut it all out. And so I started learning about plant-based and things like that after that. I'm a speed reader, so I've read over 50,000 books now. But I'm not much of a researcher, which is kind of surprising. Like, I'm more of a doer, like figure out what works and then research. A lot of people are research first, then try what the researcher says, and then implement it. I'm kind of a little different. Like, I'm like, do it, research why it worked, and then, or ask people why it worked, and then tell other people about it. So I approach it a little differently. So I started, and within, in August of 2018, I started that day, took all my blood work. I took blood work every single month on my path along the way. So I have blood work to show. I have my results to show. I have my doctor's weigh in. My doctor worked with me and made me come in every month, once a month, for an update, for a weigh in, for new blood work, which is great. This is in traditional medicine. He wasn't a holistic doctor or anything like that, which I thought I was going to have to find when I decided to go this way, but I didn't, because my primary adjusted to what I was doing. And so I started weighing in, doing my blood work. And within 6 months, I had lost, well, in 5 months, I think I did the interview with you, I'd lost 100 pounds approximately. But within 6 months, I had lost 120 pounds. And I reversed all six life-threatening diseases, completely gone off my health record. If you look at my health record now, it says no health issues. And so then today, as of this reading right now, I weigh 160, between 100 and 165 pounds. So I've lost a total of about 140 pounds since that day. So I've kept it off too. So I lost 120 and then I've kept it off since. And it's honestly, it's easy. It's not hard.
Well, you know, that's the thing is a lot of people go, how can you do that? Because I've dropped about 35 rock solid pounds, and my heaviest weight it was about 60 pounds heavier than I am now. And same thing, yo-yo dieter. I've tried it all. And when people ask me, you know, what have you done? And I tell them, it's like, either they embrace it right away or they're like, oh, I could never do that. I could never give up cheese. I could never give up meat. I could never. And it's like, no, it's that you don't want to. And so with the diseases that you've reversed, how has that, you know, this is maybe kind of a obvious question, but I really would like people to hear for you how it's changed your life as far as like your energy, as far as how you feel about yourself, your relationship with your wife, and just what your mission is now.
So there's a lot of questions in there. So let's unpack them. Let's unpack those. The first one is relationship. I had an amazing relationship already with my wife. I had both physical and mental. It's improved physical. I can tell you that.
I bet.
For sure. It definitely improved physical. I'm not a big, like, you know me. So I'm not a big, like, take my shirt off. Here's my muscles. Stuff like that's just not me. I love it when my friends do that. I got a lot of friends who are like weightlifters, runners like you. You guys are beasts, right? I'm not necessarily that. Like, but I'm in good shape. I can do 22 pull-ups like now. That's a lot. Like 22 pull-ups at once is a lot of pull-ups, like real pull-ups. But I'm not traditional. So physical, I've changed a lot. The diseases that to me, it wasn't one specific disease because I had so much wrong with me. But just walking around knowing that you have liver disease, for example, that's scary, right? That's so scary. Or walking around like snoring. That was one thing that changed with our relationship. My wife loved me, support system. One time I woke my son up across my house because I was snoring so loud. Like I had such bad sleep apnea that I stopped breathing 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 times a night. People a lot of people today die from that. Mm-hmm. Or they become so sick from things like that. So I was snoring. I couldn't sleep. I had like this liver disease that my digestive problems were off. Hypertension. I was on blood pressure medicine, but my hypertension was out of control. I would eat like Chinese food and I would just be sweating. Like I would just sweat, right? It was disgusting. It was just gross, right? I loved myself. I loved my life and everything before, but I always hated that part. I didn't like that part of me. So it's completely changed everything about where I was and where I'm at today. Completely changed everything. As far as my mission, so I don't really spend a lot. Like I finally decided, you know what? Like I need to tell other people about this, but I need to do it in my own way. Because there's so many smart people out there, you and all kinds of other people that are really smart on how to do this. So I don't really spend a lot of my times like with other plant-based people and with other vegan people. I don't really spend a lot of time. Like I'll come into like your group and stuff because I know you and it's a place that I like to go and I'll post in some other form, but I don't spend a lot of time like with other plant-based or going to plant-based events and stuff like that. Because I kind of think that you guys everybody's got that covered, right? Like they really are like, there's so many smart people that I kind of look at myself as like I spend my time today during the coronavirus today. Today I cooked for 200 nurses and doctors and medical professionals. Like I cook plant-based barbecue and plant-based stuff and I deliver it to people who aren't plant-based. Like before the coronavirus started, I was cooking. There's 3 homeless shelters here in Denver that I cook for. I cook plant-based barbecue and other stuff for homeless shelters. There's 3 high schools that I go one time a month that I go and we have plant-based day at these high schools. I'm going out there and I'm putting food in like people's hands, people that need to eat, people that need to understand like what plant-based is. I'm out there like cooking for them and showing them. And then they want to hear my story about 120 pounds or 100. My story is 120 pounds. I lost 6 diseases in 6 months, but I've lost 140 since. And then they connect the food they just ate to this incredible food with, oh my God, this guy, look at him. He was 300 pounds. It doesn't even look like the same guy. So I'm out there kind of we're both copywriters and business people. I kind of look at what I'm doing as kind of like the top of the funnel. Like I'm out there just kind of doing lead generation.
Right, right.
I'm out there kind of just doing my thing, like trying to tell people that aren't plant-based, like, here's my food, eat this sandwich. Here's this, amazing smoked sweet potato. This is my little sweet potato friend. And I'm kind of just like,
you have strange friends.
I know, right? Did you see what it said? It said, please don't eat me.
Please don't eat me.
My buddy who isn't plant-based yet that I'm working on wrote this on my sweet potato.
Oh,
and
that's
threw a
funny.
face on
That's
it.
funny.
Said, please don't eat me. So I'm out there like doing that. That's what I do every day. And my mission at the end of the day with schools and with anybody who wants to talk to me about plant-based, my mission is to just make better choices with your health, with the environment, with your life. And better choice means, it doesn't mean you have to go full out plant-based or full out vegan or whatever it is. It doesn't mean that. It just means you need to make better choices with what you're doing. And I believe the best choice is to go 100% plant-based, no dairy, no oil. I believe that. And I try to prove that with my food, that it can be good. It can be amazing. And just to make better choices. So if you're already eating 6 to 8 meals, I think the average person eats 6 to 8 meals a month. If you're already doing that, whether that means you're eating at Taco Bell 6 to 8 times a month, or you're eating 6 to 8 plant-based meals a month, that's obtainable, right? And I think that's really the overall message, because there's so many recipes out there and so many different ways you can go. It can be overwhelming and can be used as another excuse for why you're not going plant-based. So my message at the end of the day is always just see if you can make a little bit better choices. That's it. That's my
when
overall.
when you say 6 to 8 meals, 6 to 8 varieties is what you're.
So when you said cheese, I really try to educate people on not looking at things as ingredients, like as cheese or as whatever. I try to get people to look at things as meals. Like this is a taco. This is not a taco with cheese, with meat. I try to say it's a taco, or this is a lasagna, or this is a gyro. I try to get people to look at things more like as an ingredient. Like, okay, so you like to eat at Taco Bell 6 to 8 times a month. What do you like to eat at Taco Bell? I like to eat a 12-pack of tacos, which is what I used to like to eat, right? What do you get on it? Do you like chicken or do you like beef? I like beef. Okay, you like the greasy beef. So you take the taco, right? And that's what you like to eat once every week. It adds up once every week or every 2 weeks. Okay, so now you've got a taco. Now, how can you make a little bit better choice on the taco? That's really it. So instead of going out there in the universe and saying, I want to go plant-based, what should I eat? That's like a seriously open-ended question. It's like, okay, I have this taco that I know I like and my family likes it. How can I just tweak this a little bit better that my family and I'll still like it? And that's really it.
Nice.
That's really what it boils down to.
And one thing with you, I want to talk about your company, Fool's Gold, and it's all about barbecue spreads and barbecue sauce and whatever you barbecue people do. And that was something you weren't willing to give up, and you found a solution. And lately with all that's going on with the COVID-19, I've been hearing a lot about in the problem resides the solution. And your problem was you were fat. I mean, there's no two ways about it. No. You were obese. You had all these diseases, and yet you knew you needed to make a change. But one thing you weren't willing to give up was the barbecue. So talk to us about Fool's Gold. And I want to make sure people know that I'm talking to Brian Rodgers of Fool's Gold. He dropped 140 pounds, released it, reversed 6 diseases, and is 100% plant-based. So how did you get this company idea out of the problem that you had?
So I decided that, and by the way, I've got a bottle of it here too.
I'm still waiting for my bottle.
Yeah, I'll have to. I don't even do my own shipping anymore. We sold over $1 million worth of sauces now.
Wow, that's amazing.
Over $1 million worth of sauces. We're with 3 distributors now,
awesome.
So the food companies are distributing it to grocery stores and stuff now. But for me, barbecue was my passion. That's what I really liked, right? And so I kind of said, what can I do that's not kind of already being done? Because I can teach, if somebody says, Brian, how I can teach the how I lost 120 pounds. I can say, here's how I did it. Here's what I did. Because I lost 120 pounds and now 140 pounds. Or I can say, here's how I did it. Here's how I was able to reverse liver disease. But I don't really like medicine, and I don't really like that. So I let really smart people like you and other doctors and stuff explain the why. I don't even deal with the why I was able to do it. I don't enjoy that part of it. It was the how. And how I did it was finding a food that I was already eating and making that the gateway. It's like the gateway drug, right? It's the gateway food. Find a gateway food. And this applies to everything. It's not just barbecue. I choose barbecue. That's what I liked. I'm from Kansas City. Like I'm a barbecue guy, right? Like I'm a barbecue guy. But it could be Mexican food. It could be Italian food. It could be whatever. The point is start with something that you enjoy and you like, so it's not so drastic, right? Mm-hmm. It's not such a drastic change. And so I decided out of therapy that there wasn't any healthy barbecue sauce really that I considered healthy on the market. It all was so sugary and it contained so much salt. I had to cut out salt and I had to cut out sugar and I had to cut all the things. So I went to work on my championship sauce, which won the American Royal in real barbecue. And I went to work on it and I made a barbecue sauce as healthy as I could make it. I did it for me. It was kind of my therapy because trust me, when you make major changes, you know this, you need therapy. Like you need some kind of a therapy to do it. And my therapy was, I'm going to work on this business, which is baking my barbecue sauces and my recipes and my stuff as healthy as possible. And that's what I did. And so me, it wasn't about money. I didn't even care about money. I mean, if you know me, money is not on the top 10 on my list. It's easy to say when you have it, but I'm just saying, like I've sold companies, that's it. But I don't care about money. And like I said, I've sold over $1 million in this sauce. And I don't even care if I've made $1 off of it. If one person wanted it, if I ate it, I still would have done it. And I think that's the key because I think that I'm not an animal activist. But I believe in that. I have a lot of friends that are animal activists. I know you're an animal activist and you believe that. And I believe in that. But I also look at myself as an animal. I know I'm a filthy animal. I know that, right? I know
that. Filthy pig, you.
Right. I'm an art. But I look at myself as an animal. Like, you shouldn't kill animals. I believe that 100%. I've always believed it. But you also shouldn't kill yourself. You're an animal too, right?
Right.
So I kind of look at like myself in the same way. Like animals aren't I love animals. They're not my thing because there's so many people that are good at explaining the dangers of eating animals and why you shouldn't eat animals and like it's disgusting and all that stuff. There's so many good people at that. For me, I focus on like I'm the animal. Like I need to focus on what's killing me, right? And I look at myself the same way as an animal. So the animal activist people have it right. You need to really get passionate about like if you don't stop this, you're going to die. Right? You're going to die if you don't stop this. Right. If you're in that position or if you're not in that position, it's a little different. There's a big difference. I know you and I have had the diet and lifestyle discussion many times. That's a huge debate going on in almost every space right now. And a lot of people don't like that I say I went on a diet. They always try to tell me, you didn't go on a diet, you changed your lifestyle, blah, blah, blah. And I believe that. I do believe that I'm living the plant-based lifestyle today, right now. But if I'm being 100% honest and transparent, when I started this, I had to go on a diet. I had 120 pounds to lose. And if I'm talking to you and you have 100 pounds to lose out here today, you can't just I know people want to say ease into it, make little changes. And that's fine if you want to do it because you're interested in animal activism or if you want to do it because you want to improve the environment. That's amazing. Yay, good for you. You should do that. But if you need to reverse disease, that disease isn't going to slowly stop killing you. It's going to kill you. When it's ready, it's going to kill you. When your obesity is ready to kill you, it's going to kill you. It's not on your timeline. And so I always tell people, if you have a lot of weight to lose, I went on a diet right up front. Because when people have 120 pounds to lose and a lot of diseases, the disease isn't waiting on you. Your obese is not waiting on you. You can't just say, okay, well, I think I'm just going to eat sweet potatoes once every other week, and I don't understand why it's not working now. You know what I mean? That's not reality when it comes to losing a lot of weight.
Absolutely. Well, it's somebody who stops drinking because they have to. I've been sober 36 years. And it's for me to say, I'll have a drink once a week. That's not going to work for me because I'm very addicted to alcohol and drugs and all that. And I live a completely different life now as a result of giving all that up. And for me, it was I started the plant-based eating protocol and now lifestyle because I'm 100% into the lifestyle. I started because of inflammation. I'm going to be 66 next month. And with the inflammation I was experiencing, it was I need a solution. Well, weight loss for me was the byproduct, even though I did need to lose it because my doctor kept saying, you're going to have a heart attack. You're going to have a stroke. You know, this is serious stuff. You're getting older. And it's like, oh, I won't say what I thought in my mind about it, but, which really leads into the whole thing with what's going on with COVID-19 right now.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the people that deal with the greatest complications, the people that are dying, about 98% of them have underlying causes. And what is really frustrating for me, and I just did a big blog post about it, is that regardless of what the underlying causes are, they're calling it COVID-19. But let's get real. Though there were things that led up to the fact that they're having the complications, they're ending up in the hospital. Our ICU units are overburdened, and we're getting to see how broken the healthcare system has been. And this just really amplified it. But with COVID-19 and you now compared to who you used to be, how do you think your mindset, what do you think it would be if you were still 140 pounds heavier, you had all these diseases? Do you think that, it's kind of, I think a really simple question, but where is your mind now compared to where it would have been had you not released the weight and COVID-19 would be knocking at your door? Because really you would have been one of the candidates to end up in ICU on a respirator, on a, whatever they were doing to save your life, and saying, oh, it's COVID-19. I've been such a victim of circumstances. And to me, that's a bunch of bull. It's like people need to start taking responsibility for the fact that they are living a lifestyle that is setting them up for death's door.
I couldn't agree 100% on that. I mean, so where I am now with COVID-19 versus where I think I would have been if I had made these changes, I think is the real thing to focus on here. Right. And so my wife works in a hospital. She's a doctor, but she's an administrator. So she's on the front lines of this every day. I couldn't agree more with what you just said, by the way. And I have firsthand frontline knowledge of this. Right. I don't listen to the news. I don't watch the news. I don't know any of that stuff. But I do know what's going on. And I feel like I would already be dead if it weren't, because I had the symptom. I had, like you just said, you went through all the things that the people that are dying had, and I had them, right? I had, I think, everything except for diabetes, which I was an inch from diabetes. I had pre-diabetes, and I had actually tested for my blood sugar had been positive, had been high enough for being actually considered diabetic, but I didn't test enough times in a row before I started this. Because when I started on the blood work, I did do diabetes testing, but we knocked that out of the way when I started on this because they decided, no, we're not even going to worry about that right now. We're going to focus on your hypertension right now because that's the first thing that's going to kill you. And then everything else just kind of took care of itself, and my blood sugar was never bad again. But before I would catch things, I would get sick before. My wife works the reason I brought my wife is she works in a hospital. She brings home stuff. Like I have a 16-year-old kid that goes to school every day, right? They're bringing stuff home that's not normal. And I work out of my house. They're bringing home stuff that's not normal. And I used to catch it and get sick a lot. Like there's a lot of people say they were never sick. I was always sick. For 6 years, I had a cough I couldn't get rid of. For 6 years. Like I was always sick. I always had a sniffle. I always had a headache. I always had something, right? My body was like just, you can't explain. I was just bloated, for lack of a better term. And I was hot and just all the time. I was always sick. During this crisis, she's been coming and going now in the house. I haven't caught anything. I haven't even caught it so much as a sniffle. Not so much as a sniffle. And she's working in a hospital that has, I don't know the number, but it's pretty close to 300 COVID patients that have been in and out of there since she's been there. And I haven't caught so much as a sniffle. So I believe 100% that I've completely avoided this because of what I decided to do. The timing was really good because I think I probably would have been maybe in a hospital bed either way, whether this would have came along or not. But I think the timing was really good. And I do want to just send one shout out because I have a friend who was in the same situation as me, and he's no longer with us. He was a friend of mine that we spent a lot of time together. My new podcast is coming out called The Next Thing Smoking, and my book called The Next Thing Smoking. was actually a song by a friend of mine named Joe Diffie, who's this famous country music singer who I spent a lot of time with in Branson, Missouri. He used to be in great shape and whatever. And he had really gained a lot of weight. And if you see pictures of him now, he's a famous person. He had 17 #1 hits on the country chart. And he caught COVID on a Thursday, and he was dead by Sunday.
That's incredible.
Caught COVID on Thursday, dead on Sunday. Ironically, I had talked to him 2 weeks before. This has been 4 weeks now, 4 weeks ago. So this is fresh. I had talked to him about 4 weeks ago because I said, hey, Joe, I hadn't talked to you in a while, and I was just letting you know that I want to name my podcast Next Thing Smoke, because I literally always say Next Thing Smoking, right? I want to name my podcast Next Thing Smoking because it has so much meaning to me. Would you mind? And he's like, oh my God, no. And he's like, I didn't even realize you had lost 140. He's like, he said, I'm a fat A. I'm a fat A. You know, he said that. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, I need to do that. Like, yes, you have my blessing. Please do it. And I talked to him a little bit about what I was doing. And he's like, yes, please do it. And by the way, if you want me to come on and play Next Thing Smoking, the actual song live on your podcast, and another song that I have quoted in my book called Tougher Than Nails, which was kind of my anthems that I had on my playlist every day when I walked during my journey. And now he's dead. He's the country music singer that died. So he had the same problems that I had: overweight, other diseases. I don't know if he didn't have liver disease, but he was pre-diabetic, just very much the same issues that I was having, had no exercise, things like that. Right. And he died. So I want to put a shout out to Joe Diffie on your show, because I miss him. Great guy, incredible country music singer. He's a member of the Grand Ole Opry, and he's in the Country Music Hall of Fame already. And now he's just his legacy will live forever. So
yeah. Well, in his memory, let's talk about the people that desperately need to make changes, and they're right in the middle of the COVID situation, because we don't know where we're at in it. We don't know if it's still the beginning. We don't know if we're near the end. And the reality is it's about each of us taking responsibility for our choices. So for the people that have a lot of excess weight, they're basically a walking heart attack, a walking stroke, a walking whatever. And they're saying, well, it's too late for me. I just, we're in the middle of this. I can't do anything about it. Let's talk to them. And what's your message to them about the need to make the changes that can give them a better quality of life? Whether it be for them, their family, their community.
Yeah, I talk a lot about everybody's a leader. And everybody's a leader in their own community or with their own people. So you may be a leader of your grandparents, or you may be a leader of your hospital. You may be a leader of your church, or you may be a leader of your little household, right? Everybody's a leader of something. You're a leader of a plant-based movement group, right? We're all leaders, and we have to set really good examples. And so if it's you that we're talking to, if you're the one that needs to make the change, or if it's somebody else, it doesn't matter. The message for me is always the same. And I know it sounds so simple, but you have to literally today, right? Or let's just set a time frame on this. Eat whatever you want the rest of today, and by 8 o'clock tonight, you're on the new plan. You just have to start tomorrow. Don't do any more. Like, research is amazing, education's amazing. I'm not saying it's not, but you have to start tomorrow. There's no amount of research that you can do at this point, whether you've researched 1 million books, all the different online groups, 20 different doctors. All of them are great. They all have great things. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you're one we're talking to that needs to change, 8 o'clock tonight, you're done. Right. You're done. Tomorrow morning, you need to do this. This is what my doctor told me, and this is what I would tell you. Tomorrow morning, if you're home, you need to walk if you're not exercising already, you need to walk to the end of your block and back. First thing, that's it. Walk to the end of your block as fast as you can walk, and walk back to your computer as fast as you can walk, or to your house, or to whatever. Mm-hmm. Just go for a walk. That's it. That's the first thing. Second thing is modify something you're going to eat tomorrow. I don't care what it is. You can show me. I do this little live show called they're called pantry raids. I like to raid people's pantries.
What's in your pantry?
Right? It's fun, right? And I do it not because I care about it. I just care about, like, it's fun. Like, I want to see.
You're just nosy. You're just nosy.
I am. That's true. I'm gonna have
you see how organized your pantry is.
I'm going to get in your pantry too. Trust me. That's coming.
Okay.
I get in people's pantries. I'm good at that. You can show. I don't care if you're the worst eater in the world. You can show me your pantry right now, and I can show you how to eat a plant-based meal right now to what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter, right? Like, should you eat processed? No. Should you eat all this like crazy chips? No. Should you eat all this stuff? No. But I guarantee there's going to be a best choice in your house, unless there's no food. And if there's no food, you need to call Kathleen or call me or call somebody here. If you're listening to this, call either one of us. We'll help you get food, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
But if you have food, there's food you can eat right now. Don't use that as an excuse. There's food you can eat. I promise you that.
Absolutely.
Show me whatever you had, and I'll show you the best thing you can eat. Don't go out and say, okay, I'm going completely 100% plant-based tomorrow. I need to go find 1,000 recipes.
Right.
Wrong thing to do.
Absolutely.
Completely wrong thing to do. And I hate saying this, and I love it at the same time because I'm a professional chef and everybody's always wanting recipes. And I get that. I totally get cooking from a recipe, but it's not about that.
Right.
You have a lot of weight to lose. It's about finding the best choice for you tomorrow and setting your hard nose, which means tomorrow, try no meat, no dairy, no oil, no salt. That's it. And salt is the optional one. There could be cases where there's sodium in some of the things. It's the best choice in your house. That's okay. We'll let you slide on that one, but you can't let it slide on meat and on dairy. And if you're in lifestyle mode like I am now, I let some oil slip here and there. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect, like by any means. I'm really close to perfect, but I'm not perfect.
Right.
But I am perfect on meat and dairy. And so if you just tomorrow do meat and dairy and that's it, and cut the oil down, it's so easy to not use oil if it's not processed. So that's not really an issue. Tomorrow, go for a walk, find the best choice in your house right now. That's it. You don't have to go to the grocery store if you have food in your house.
Well, you can't right now.
Right. But find the best choice. That's it. Like literally, Kathleen, I think that's so overlooked because all of us that get so educated on all this stuff and things, we can kind of almost overlook the obvious,
right?
You know? And that's why I really stay focused on it. Like I stay focused on top of the funnel, put leads in. You just got to
absolutely
got to do it. And I leave like the funneling to everybody else, like the, should I eat sweet potatoes or regular potatoes? Like, I don't know. You know.
Right.
I don't know that. Like, I don't know. Like, I'll tell you what I did, but I don't know. Like, that's where research comes in.
Right.
But you got to do it now, right now, literally, right. Look at my before and after pictures. I don't know if they're going to be attached to this.
Yeah, I'll make sure that they're in the blog post.
Those
definitely.
2 pictures that you're going to see, that was 6 months before and that was 6 months after.
Yeah.
So, like, I know I've been fighting it since I was 8 years old, tried everything, finally did this at 44 years old and completely reversed it. So you can do it. And I did it I literally made that simple decision and that was it.
Well, and really that's what everything is about, is making one simple decision. And then based on that decision, you take the actions, and you may have to make the decision several times a day, but it's, for me, it's like, I so want people to understand their responsibility in their health, because people have given up the power. And I know your wife is a doctor. She's an administrator. She's, that's her lifestyle. And I'm sure she would agree that so many people give up their power to the white coat. And God bless our frontline workers. God bless our doctors and our nurses right now, and help them to help you by making better choices. Because I know when I went in to see my doctor, it was about 3 or 4 months into going plant-based. And she was just like, oh my gosh, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. I support you. I'm there for you, because she saw my struggles through the years. I've had her as my doctor for about 14 years now. And she saw me at my heaviest weight. It was when I was caretaking my mom, and all I did was eat candy bars and donuts and cookies. I mean, I was just filling my face with sugar, and my numbers were terrible. And, so for her to see somebody who has turned that around, that's what doctors want. Doctors went into medicine to help people. And so help your doctors to help you. And, you mentioned about making the meals for school children. I just did this blog post where I addressed the issue of the nutrition or lack thereof in our school systems with the snacks they provide tried the vending machines, the sodas, the potato chips and all that. How do you think that we can have just even a little bit of impact on the way that children are being fed within the school systems? What do you think?
I mean, that's my passion now. I mean, that at the end of the day.
Oh, then you and I definitely need to talk more about that.
At the end of the day, the $1 billion that I make off this, that's where that money's going. I'm not putting any of this into my pocket. My goal is to raise $10 million to overcome that exact issue. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that within a year, maybe within 2 years, but I'm going to raise $10 million to fight that disease. And so it's really difficult. It's really difficult. I feel like I'll just tell you about a few things that I've done, because there's no way like anybody, not you individually you can help move the needle, but we're not going to do it individually. Right. But a few things start to add up. And like, let me just tell you a few things that I did. Like I'm really big into volunteerism, like going out and either cooking for people. And when I cook for people, there's no choice. I don't say, what do you want to eat? I say, I'm cooking. If you want me to cook for you, I'm cooking you plant-based, just so you know.
Right.
And so like homeless shelter, like when you go to Denver Rescue Mission here in Denver, you can like, I'm not saying this to brag, but
go ahead, brag.
Denver Rescue Mission on a regular day, there's a long line, right? When they have a network, the homeless people in Denver, which that's another issue that I have friends that are trying to fight. When they know I'm coming, they know I'm plant-based, there is a line 3 blocks long. I'm not even joking you.
Wow.
You know why? Not because it's plant-based, because it's going to be good. They know like, this is barbecue. We're getting ready to eat, man. And so like when they know I'm coming, it's crazy. I'm going to have to
awesome.
I don't like to take pictures because it's homeless people and stuff like that. And there's a lot of struggles going on that are way beyond what we're talking about here, but it's crazy, right? If you see it. And the reason I bring that up is because I'm very big into volunteerism and doing stuff like that. And so try to lead by example. Like I volunteer at the library. I'm a greeter at the library. I stand in front of the library, big public library.
Awesome.
I'm like, hi, welcome to Douglas County Library. I'm Brian. What can I help you find today? Right. And so that's what I do. Or like old people walk in and they're like, I don't know. How do I find a Judy Blume book? I don't know, whatever people read these days. Like, so I'm a greeter. Right. And so, one of the things that I focused on there was the vending machines. You mentioned vending machines.
Yes.
There were vending machines in the front of the library that were full of junk. Right. So I just started trickling down to the administrators. Hey, because I was a good volunteer. I did things. People started noticing me in other ways that weren't necessarily like specific to plant-based. So I didn't run in and say, oh my God, you have junk in your stuff, I shouldn't say junk in your trunk. That's a different story. You have junk in your...
You're going to get in their pantry with junk in their trunk.
You need to change it right now, because that works for some people, but that typically isn't the way to approach things overall.
Absolutely.
So I started telling my story. Like, I lost 140 pounds. How'd you do it? And I said, but not eating the stuff in that vending machine, basically. Right. And so within a month of me being there, I had those vending machines removed. Right.
Awesome.
There's millions of vending machines that I like to have removed, but then I used that story and I send it on to a couple schools, like a couple of schools I said, hey, did you know that I volunteer at this library, and here's my supervisor's name. And I had made the decision to remove these vending machines out of the library, and here's the reasons why. Here's the supervisor's name and phone number and whatever. You should really look into this. And then I pushed it off to them because they were an authority that made the decision to remove it. And then I got some vending machines removed out of 2 high schools.
Nice.
And so it's a trickle effect. And now my message that I'm getting out there now, like I'm getting books out there. I'm getting barbecue sauces out there. I'm getting people coming to my YouTube page, all these things. And the message at the end of the day is still the same. Like, it's at the end of the day, it's still make better choices.
Right.
Right. I think we all just kind of have to figure out our way to do that. You're figuring out your way to do that. I figured out my way to do that. And that's by focusing on plant-based barbecue and letting my food speak for itself. And then once your food speaks for yourself, how did you lose 120 pounds? Here's how I did it.
Right.
Here's what I ate. And by the way, I'm not an expert on this. Here's the expert you need to go plug into. And then once they plug into all that, then it's it's very easy from that point on.
Absolutely. And to really look at our responsibility to our young people, because, it's sad when you think that there's such a high percentage of obesity in young people, and they're getting the adult onset of diabetes. They're getting the adult diseases at the age of 12, 10, it's unfair to them. And so
the diseases are just the start. The diseases are just the start.
Oh, for sure.
I talk a lot about this in my book about how I was, until this year, like I literally have just gotten rid of some of my trauma in my life, like just literally months ago. Like I was severely traumatized as a child because it wasn't just weight. Like weight is also, you're going to get disease.
Right.
But the feeling of like people making fun of you, knowing people, whether they are or not, it doesn't matter. Kids are traumatized over this. And I was traumatized over this my whole life. And it wasn't just the disease. It wasn't just that you're going to get unhealthy and die. It's that you just are in this, it's like alcohol. You mentioned alcohol or drugs, or it's the same thing.
Absolutely.
It's the exact same thing. Is you get stuck in this and you just can't get out. There's no way to get out. And you find a way. Like, I don't know what you did, Alcoholics Anonymous or whatever it is. With me, it was barbecue. Barbecue was what made me fat.
Right.
But it wasn't the tool. Like barbecue's what also got me out of it.
Right.
Like it was something that I could do. I could make healthy. I could enjoy. I could make it work. It worked for me. So we got to figure out how to get kids specifically out of this earlier than we're getting them out of. We don't want to wait till they're 44, 60. I can't believe you're 60 without I'm even saying
66.
That. I can't even believe that we're even saying that.
I know. Hey, I actually got carded the other day for a senior discount, and it's like, card me, yes, okay.
Wait, though.
Oh, I love it.
We don't have a choice. We're that age.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I am 44. I don't have a choice. But what I can try to change the choices of 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, stuff like that.
That's giving them a fair shake in life. That's, it's when you mentioned about me giving up alcohol, I had a sponsor early on, and I did start with a 12-step program, and I hit a very dark bottom. I mean, I ended up on the streets. I, got run out of a little mining town. I moved to a mining town to get away from all the drunks, and I turned out to be the town drunk. It's going to be in my book, and literally the town drunk in a town that had nothing but 2 bars. I mean, that was it. No grocery store, no gas station, 2 bars. That was it. And they ran me out of town and said, you're too much trouble. Get out of here. But I remember that my first sponsor said, you have to want to get sober more than you want that drink. And it's the same with any major life change that we make. We have to want the other thing more than we want the current thing. And now you mentioned your book a few times. What's the name of your book, and when is it coming out?
It's out. It's not published yet, but it's out. You can go and look up the Next Thing Smoking podcast, or go to just brianrodgers.com. I've kind of got everything at brianrodgers.com now. And it's done. It's called The Next Thing Smoking. It's a great book. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll dance probably a little bit. I like to dance a little bit. It's literally like exactly step by step, like how I went through, how I did it,
awesome,
what I did to reverse liver disease, why I start way back to when I was 8 years old. It's not a biography by any means of that. I don't go into detail about all my childhood and stuff like that, but it lays the groundwork for, we do have to get into kids as early as possible.
Absolutely.
And so it's a great read. So go check that out. It's brianrodgers.com, and
we'll put that in the show notes. And,
dude.
I would love to have you back and do a conversation on just the children's issues in the school systems, because it kind of hit me the other day. I was out for a run, and I was just thinking about this whole thing with COVID-19 and people not wanting to take responsibility for their food choices, and really looking at the whole process of where the viruses start. They start in wet markets and they start in factory farms. I mean, let's get real about it. So it's like it's in the animals. And so I started putting all these pieces together, and I thought, it's horrendous what we do to our children, and that it's manufacturers that are getting the food into the potato chips and the sodas and all that. So I'm looking for that real big cause. I'm doing a lot right now with plant-based eating, but there's like, what is that one thing that I really want to commit to besides the compassion to animals? It is the children. And I don't have children of my own. It's like that decision was made many, many years ago. And yet I'm very committed to giving children a fair shake in life. And the best thing we can do for them is put them back on a healthy path and, get them out exercising and in fun ways. It's not like, oh, you have to exercise today, but things that get them outside, things that get them close to nature, and things that get them eating healthy. And Brian, this has been awesome. Usually I do about 20 minutes on a podcast. We've been going for nearly an hour. That is so awesome. The time just flew by, and I definitely want to have you back. I want to have another conversation around school systems, children, and what we can do to move your movement forward, get the word out, and get you raising that $10 million.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I'm committed to it. Definitely.
Thank you.
So I adore you. I think you're just the cat's meow. I am so grateful that I know you. We've known each other for years in different environments, the online space, and here we are. We have a deeper connection because of plant-based eating. So closing,
I love that, and I appreciate you and everything you're doing too, Kathleen. And I consider you in this small circle of definitely people that I like to reach out to when I need advice on. I'm new to the plant-based world, really, if you look at it, and so I look at you for definitely advice on stuff and how I can get my message out there too. So
you've been doing it longer than me. You started in August of 2018. I started September 16th of 2018. It's kind of weird because it's like I know my last drink day and I know my last piece of meat day. It's really amazing. It's like it's monumental, and it's a big, that was a very important day for me. So and I love what you say about people. Okay, 8:00 tonight, you're done, and tomorrow you just start fresh. And the only way it's going to happen is for people to take the action. It's not going to be, people think, oh, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be hard. And your point is, is it harder to live with the diseases and the excess weight and the low self-esteem, all of that? Is that harder, or is it actually the best choice to give yourself the life that you deserve? So in closing, what would you like to tell folks?
I would say I would echo what you just said. Honestly, it is going to be hard, but it's a lot harder if you're in a position where you need to make a change. It was a lot harder to get where you're at today than it will be to make the short-term sacrifice. And it can be short-term. If you go all in on this, it is a short-term sacrifice. It's not like you're going to live this the rest of your life like I am now, but if you need to lose and get rid of disease, it can be a very short-term thing. Like even if you're 44, it took you 44 years to get to 300 pounds. It could literally in 6 months or 8 months or 9 months, you could literally change that.
Absolutely.
I'm living proof of that. Like I'm proof of that. Kathleen lost 60 pounds. A lot of people have lost weight. I think one thing that makes my story unique is I lost weight and reversed a bunch of disease all at once in a short amount of time. That makes it a little unique. Eating barbecue and doing walking. Like I'm not a crazy runner or anything like that. I walk. We didn't even get into that today, but I'm a walker. I didn't do anything crazy. Like I literally didn't do anything crazy. And within 6 months, I did it. So it can be a short-term thing to do this. You can literally do this in 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. It doesn't have, and then you can live a plant-based lifestyle for the rest of your life. But you can just make this short-term commitment to do it, like right now. And if you need a reminder, you can send me a message. I'm happy to remind you, or a little tip, one leaving tip for you. All the things Kathleen and I just said right now, if you have Alexa, just program to Alexa, say, Alexa, tell me not to eat every hour. I think she just came. Alexa, set a reminder to tell me not to eat this hour. Alexa, set a reminder to tell me that I need to go for a walk every 2 hours today. See what I mean?
Right
and
on.
Alexa's sitting here responding to me.
Right
so that's
on.
a little tip. Just tell Alexa. Or here's another tip. I did this last week, and I don't mean to keep going on, but these are just such little things that you can do, like such little practical things. I posted on my Facebook page that there was something I wanted to get done. And I wanted to get it done in 2 days, right? And I knew I wasn't going to be accountable to myself because honestly, at the end of the day, I'm a little lazy. I'm not a marathon. Like if I went running with you, Kathleen, I would make it like a block probably. But there's little things. I wanted to get something done in 2 days. I went on my Facebook page and I said, Facebook friends, I'm going to pay somebody $40. And what I want you to do is I want you to send me this message I want you to send me a direct message on Facebook every 2 hours to remind me to do this. And they did. I paid them $40. And every 2 hours for 2 days, they said, Brian, it's me again. Just remind you to do that. By the way, why are you doing this? Why are you trying to do this? So they started an actual diet conversation, right? You can do it with Alexa or you can do it with a friend. The bigger point is accountability, but it's just a little tip. Like if your problem is you need to stop eating, then you have somebody remind you to not eat every 2 hours. That's it, right?
Right.
Or you have somebody remind you to walk every 4 hours. Or you have somebody remind you to do whatever. It's just like organization tools, right?
Right.
It's so simple. You don't have to go out online to figure out how to walk around the block. You don't have to go research. You don't have to go read. Like I love How to Not Die, that book.
Yes.
By Michael Greger,
Good
right?
book. Good
You
book.
don't have to read How to Not Die to figure out how to do this.
Right.
Right? You can figure out the why. Like if you go out and lose 120, like if you have 120 pounds to lose right now, you can do it in 6 months if you just start with what we just said on this thing. And then guess what? When you have free time, you can read Michael Greger's book or whoever's book, and you can figure out all the why it happened. Like, hey, I just lost liver disease, but I have no idea why. Well, read Michael Greger's book and you can find out. You see what I did there, though?
Absolutely.
Did it first, learned about why later. Trust me, there's tons of information to learn the why about why you do it, but you still have to do something.
You got to do it. You got to do the next smoking thing.
The next thing smoking, babe. The next thing smoking.
The next thing smoking. Well, Brian, this has been great, and we'll have all your information in the show notes. We're going to do a blog post around this. This is going up on YouTube. We're going to get your message out about the barbecue sauce and Fool's Gold so you can raise money for the school systems to help them get better nutrition in the schools. Thank you so much for what you're doing. If you think I love you, you're right. And give your wife a big hug and kiss for me.
I will.
Have a delightful, healthy, safe day.
Thank you so much, Kathleen.
You betcha.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for your commitment to an ethical life through plant-based food choices. The kind of choices that are kind to your body, the environment, and most of all, animals. Be sure to leave a review and rating of the Plant-Based Eating for Health podcast show.